Here we are, New Thought Tuesdays. Welcome, Richard. Hello,
Hey,
I'm Dean Regan. That's Rich Smith. Have you ever been in a place where it kind of was us versus them? Us versus them? Have you ever had an experience when you or a group of people that you were a part of were experiencing a sense of what Abraham likes to call pushing against, resistance, in
yeah.
the words of Ernest Holmes? That's what we're talking about today. Have you ever had that experience, Rich?
Oh, yeah, I'll talk about it later.
So we're calling today Beyond the Divide because our focus is on beyond that appearance of a divine. And we're going to be talking about spiritual practices and just the very idea of transcending this whole us versus them, right versus wrong, or more particularly, I'm right, you're wrong
Yeah.
situation. And we can have that as in a sense of individuals, perhaps that appearance. We can have it as groups. We can have it as continents. We can have it as countries. We can have it as bridge groups. I don't know. We can have it in any way we choose to have it, or we can transcend it. And that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah. It can really cause a lot of divisions between family, friends, countrymen, nations. That whole idea of us against them, it can be really destructive. And it's all based on fear, the fear of the unknown, maybe, or the fear of the loss of something, or fear of somebody being different than you and their opinions. Also, we don't want to go into the political part of it, but politically speaking, it can create some pretty strong opinions out there that can cause division within the country. Maybe that's what we should talk about.
I'm right, you're
You're
wrong.
wrong.
Oh, and here I've got people who I can join me in my rightness and your wrongness. And oh, let's get some icon that we can all look to who really points out how right we are and how wrong you are. And we're off to the races. Thank
Yeah.
God for New Thought Tuesdays. Thank God for New Thought, Ancient Wisdom. Thank God for spiritual awareness. Thank
Yeah.
God.
We're going
Oh,
to talk about,
I'm sorry, I keep using that word God for those of you. I just mean the infinite, your highest and best good.
yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk about some spiritual perspective on this, spiritual principles that you can use in order to break free from this fear, this idea of separation, and that they're wrong, you're right. So, what else, Steve?
Well,
We're going to talk about unity and oneness.
we're going to talk about creating a world that is together. We're going to talk about the spiritual practices of that unity. We're going to talk about mainly and first off looking at the illusion of division, because all of this us versus them stuff, all that we've got one section of this world or one section of this country or that is different than, or
Yeah.
the culture is different. We are dedicated to the idea that we are all one.
Yeah.
Rich and I are dedicated to the idea that we are all one, and that anything that appears to be different than that is what we call an appearance, that there is one power, one energy, that power and energy is perfect, and we are all expressing it.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different than there's a division here, because when we look at it, it's like a division is an appearance.
Yeah. For me, this whole idea of that we're all unique, individualized expressions of the divine, and once you come to that understanding, it's easier to replace the fear and separation with more compassion and empathy for the other side. Uh, I know I had some experiences recently that I'm kind of like almost hesitant to talk about it because I'm ashamed of what I had done, although I did have a breakthrough. And
Okay.
then, I'd like to talk about that. But anything else about us versus them that you want to kind of define what it is? And
I, the, I think the us versus them, whether it's the child versus the parents versus the children, and all of those other things, or look at your work environment. It's pretty easy to find situations. If you're not involved in them, other people are involved, with the sense of us versus them, maybe even in your own spiritual organization. So that's definition is pretty easy, I think. Have you listened to the news of late? Have you turned on the news? Have you bought into what the news or is not telling you? What any kind of news, whether it be from a media source or someone down the street, or you're in your own thought, are you buying into what you're being told? And I'm not talking about the media here. I'm talking about you, yourself, and you. What are you telling yourself about these divisions that you're perceiving? What are you telling yourself about the reality of what's going on? And the only other term I bring into this basic discussion is, are you identifying the love?
Yeah,
Authentic
that's what
love.
it is
But
ultimately.
but I can't wait, Richard. I cannot wait for you. Got a story,
Okay, here's my story. So,
right?
anyways, I was in bed last night, not last night, last week, and I had a dream. I had a dream that the LGBT community was all getting locked up um, uh, because of their belief systems and stuff. You know, it was after the elections, and you know, things went more to the far right than the far left. And see, here I am talking about division again. I shouldn't be doing that. But here's the thing. I had a breakthrough because what I did is I took and I plugged into AI. What are the similarities between behaviors of some dictators that were similar to the behaviors of some of the politicians that will cause this kind of a strife to be able to lock up? Because I woke up, I was like all in fear. It was really fearful. And so fear. So I had to bring love into it. But anyways, I posted something, and all of a sudden, friends, people, a guy that I had worked with who was really close to me, and really did a lot of nice things for me, you know, when I was down and out and struggling. And so I offended him and his wife, and they started voicing it. And then I started voicing something back, and the fear and the anger started to rise up. Okay. And I said, wait a second, this is like, you know, this is the thing. This whole situation in politics now is creating family against family, friends against friends, countrymen against countrymen, and it doesn't feel right. And so I went and I used my app to create a prayer treatment for it, which was super powerful. So let's talk a little bit about that experience of posting something. And then is it okay to talk about my beliefs? It obviously it's not these days. You can't even talk about what you're feeling and what you're believing, not even what side you're on.
Well, you're talking about
Politically.
social media,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
You were not in your living room with people that you know and
no,
love, or people that you were getting to know and having a discussion. You were experiencing an expression of information that
yeah,
you were typing out, and others were reading that information.
yeah, yes,
So one of the things that I love about this idea of oneness, and the idea of one and love, is, were you expressing in love, and were they reading in love? And was this indeed the opportunity and the place to share and have interpreted your own feelings? And if it was, great. If it was, you walked away with a little bit of sense of concern, but you said you also had a breakthrough.
oh yeah, yeah, I did. And you know, but here's the thing, Dean. Um, I was just voicing my opinions, but obviously they affected somebody in the wrong way, because I was comparing personality traits between the you know, the dictator and the politician. So anyways, it all blew up. I feel bad about it. And I really went into prayer about it. Said, okay, help me out here. And then I plugged it into AI. And so anyways, that's the thing about acting out of fear. I was in fear. I was in fear that this was going to happen. And I acted out of fear instead out of love, like you say. And so how could I have posted this with my beliefs and stuff in a loving way without it's really tough in the environment today. In the
I
political
I
environment, it's really tough to just post even how you feel.
I truly don't have an answer for you other than I have great compassion for you and empathy for you. I love you. And I love that you're experiencing and expressing. First off, I will point out that you were having this us versus them experience last week when we knew our topic was going to be us versus them this week. So there was some kind of energy going on, even if it was in the week before, that this us versus them energy is going on. And I truly believe that the only whether we could troubleshoot what you could do, what you could have done. There are media marketing people that I'm sure are fabulous at the nuance of the choices to be made.
Yeah.
I know that there is love and a call for love. And so if you are experiencing and expressing love for yourself and love for those people whose feelings you may well have hurt, and you may have hurt their feelings, and I'm very sorry that their feelings were hurt. However, we have a right, I have a right to say what I truly believe and be in an environment of information where I get to express what I am feeling, sensing, and knowing. That's why New Thought Tuesdays is fabulous. There are people, I'm sure, that do not like New Thought Tuesdays. I can't imagine it. But hey, we get to come from a place of authentic love, authentic care, and know that even in your experience of, hey, I was saying this and they're saying it's that. And they're, and now I'm a little bit disappointed and sad about them, and I'm sad about me, and there's all kinds of things going on.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
It's so simplistic. And I hear it when I say it, but it may not be easy. But it's what I truly believe in.
Yeah, exactly. I like to read this prayer treatment that I created in the app. Because to me, we can talk about all the fear and all the resentment that comes up and all of the different things that feed into this, or we can, like you say, go right to love. And this prayer treatment, which is the 5-step process that we use: recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release, really set my tone into when I went into my meditation to be able to feel that. And I went and I deleted yeah, the post. I had to delete it. It was like, okay, the right thing to do is just delete this, okay?
Do
And
over.
I did. So,
Before you do the prayer, because I think we should close out on the prayer if we could, before we go into the inner circle. Let's remind people that if they want to be a part of the inner circle, which is the paid discussion group of the topics of the day, give us an email or go to newthoughttuesdays.com and sign up for one. There's two places you can go. I want to be reminded, and we'll send a gentle reminder with the link to the live stream. Or I want to be part of the inner circle. I want to join the inner circle, and we'll send you a different link after you've had a conversation with Rich. So that's how you can become part of the inner circle. The folks who are going to talk about this topic, quite frankly, the folks who brought this topic up in our inner circle last week, we were asking people, what kind of things would you like to talk about? And a number of different topics came up, and this was one that we chose and that we were called to talk about today. So the other thing is, Mr. Richard Smith has created an app that creates 5-step spiritual mind treatments.
Yeah.
And I'm just tickled that he's done this. And he works with this with his clients as well. And so that's where this prayer is coming from. Why don't we go to the prayer, Mr. Smith?
Okay, I will. But let's talk about the inner circle. You know,
Okay.
what are some of the, we're going to use some processes, different techniques in the inner circle to help break through the fear into love. We're going to talk about the fear that people are having these days and how we can break through that fear and feel more love and compassion for the other side, you know.
The other side.
You know, a lot of times I don't even bring up politics. I went to my families and half of them are Republicans, half of them are Democrats. And it was like every time the subject was brought up, I was like, that's another technique you can use. Just, okay, zip it up. We don't talk about politics in this family. And that's a shame too, because I would like to really talk about it in a healthy way. And we can talk about this in the inner circle. How do you talk about your political views in a healthy way without making the other person feel like they're wrong and you're right? It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
It all has to do with love.
Yeah. And so, you know, prayer treatment. Let me find it. So anyways, it's 5 steps. Recognition is the first step. So I went within and after I read this, I went in and I just really meditated and contemplated each of these segments, the recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release. And so the first one is recognition. I acknowledge the presence of divine love, the infinite and all-encompassing source that unites all creation. This divine love knows no separation and embraces all things with equal compassion and understanding. And so if the infinite intelligence, God, divine love, divine presence can be all-encompassing and unites everything in creation, then it's working in and as and through us, then I am a vessel for that love to be able to express it and to be able to share it, to bring more of it into the universe. And so unification was the second step, which is I am one with this divine love, the same infinite source that flows through me and through all others. We are all interconnected, bound by the same divine essence that transcends all perceived differences. Knowing that I'm one with this divine presence, that there's no separation here. The only separation is the fear that comes up or the criticism or judgment. And so I, you know, release that, just understanding that there is a connection between me and my family and my friends and my society. So the second step is I now realize that the us versus them mentality from my thoughts and heart, I recognize that any fear or separation I feel is rooted in illusion, like Dean was saying, it's not in the truth. So I choose to focus on the commonalities that unite us, seeing the divine spark within every person I encounter. I embrace diversity with an open heart, knowing that it enriches my experience and opens my understanding of the world. I am free from the grip of tribalism, and I choose to cultivate compassion, empathy, and unity in my interaction. To me, that realization is what it's all about. That's what love, intelligence is. That's what the divine is. That's how it expresses itself in diversity and an open heart, knowing that it enriches the experience, that I am being enriched by this experience, this foolish experience I've had of posting something, totally being enriched by it because I'm learning. You know, I was able to delete the post. It's just hard for me to delete a post. I am deeply grateful. So the Thanksgiving is I am deeply grateful for the awareness and wisdom that guides me in releasing fear and embracing love. I give thanks for this peace and harmony that flow into my life as I align with the truth of our shared humanity. Wow, that's so powerful. Our shared humanity. We're all just one in love, one in life, one in God. So I trust in the power. The release step is I trust in the power of this prayer. Just totally trust in it. Knowing that it is already fulfilled, I release it to the divine, confident love, unity, and understanding now govern my thoughts, my words, and my actions. And so it is. And God, when I said this prayer, I was able to just release anything that I was feeling, even the guilt I was feeling or the sorrow that I had posted something like this. I was able to release it, you know? So hopefully I can patch things up with my friends and family.
Well, that's part of the thing is there is the prayer treatment, there's spirit, and then there are actions, moving your feet. There are spiritual actions that you are going to take, and they'll come to you from that spiritual experience of the prayer treatment. So the patch up, as you put it, that expression of love is now unfolding in your experience, and it can transcend your human actions as well. Be very interested to see that the love for these people is real, and that your understanding of them is real, and empathy of them is real and deep within. But hey,
Yeah.
it's time for the inner circle. It's time to experience and express more conversation, deeper awareness of this stuff. Are you ready to go in, Rich?
Yes, I am. I just want to let the people know how they can get in touch with us because, if you need help with this, especially at this time, at this period, then you can get in touch with us and we can work with you. Dean's a spiritual life practitioner. I'm a life coach. And you can get in touch with us, me at theinfinitefilmmaker.com. It's my website, and Dean.
DeanRegan.com.
Yeah.
Dean Regan, DeanRegan.com.
Yeah. And I don't usually do a lot of this self-promotion, but a lot of my clients are talking about this stuff today, and it's really affecting them, and fear and worry and concern. And so if you're having any of that, just get in touch with us. And also join the inner circle. Just go to newthoughttuesdays.com. Join the inner circle where we work with you there, free. Well, actually, not free.
No, we charge now, but that's okay.
Okay.
Moving forward. So turning off the recordings, going into the inner circle, stopping the streaming. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Take care. One moment.